Predator for the NES is a weird game based off of the famous Arnold Schwarzenegger movie of the same name. Some of you might be thinking, how can I call a game weird if it's based on a movie? Wouldn't it just be a reflection of how weird the movie is? You'd think so. Actually, there was a Predator game that more closely followed the movie that came out for a bunch of systems such as the Commodore 64 and Amstrad CPC. In the midst of all these ports is this one standalone game that's not even remotely similar to the others. While they're side-scrolling shooters, this one is a more typical platforming game. I'm assuming a lot of you have seen the movie, but if you haven't, I'm pretty sure it'll still be obvious how much they strayed from the movie's plot. Let me give you a really fast summary in case you're one of those people who haven't, or in case it's been a while and you could use a quick reminder. Arnold, or Dutch as he's called in the movie, plus Jesse Ventura, Apollo from Rocky, and a bunch of other tough army guys, fight a bunch of guerrilla soldiers in the middle of the jungle, but no sooner have they won than they become prey for an invisible alien who hunts them for sport. When you start the game, the first thing you'll notice is this weird rock thing. What is it supposed to be? It stands still at first, but when you move towards it, it starts coming after you. You can stand on it without getting hurt, but you lose energy if it hits you from the sides. I first played this game many years ago, and I still don't know what this thing is supposed to be. I decided to look at the manual, but here's the thing. The game was made by a Japanese movie distributor called Pack-In Video, and then published by Activision. I would have to guess that Activision wrote the manual and just did their best to make sense of the game without any actual communication with the creators. Now, the manual does say that you have to watch out for rolling rocks and moving boulders, so I'm guessing that's what this is supposed to be, but let's think about this. Why does it have blinking lights on it? Why does it only move when you come near? Why does it die when you shoot it? I don't think Activision had any better idea than you or I do. Well, the first two levels are otherwise pretty sane. They do have a jungle look and feel to them. You can collect a machine gun and grenades, which totally makes sense. You face enemy soldiers, just like in the movie. There's some scorpions too, which I guess makes sense. A lot of games will throw in animals and other small creatures. I mean, they're huge, but scale is usually wrong in a game like this, so it's no big deal. What is a little weird is that the scorpions come in two different varieties. One type always hurt you, and the other type you can stand on without getting hurt. That's a bit odd, wouldn't you say? Here's Arnold Schwarzenegger riding on top of a scorpion. If they're not supposed to be giant, how does this even work? What logic went into this? Even if a scorpion is somehow not poisonous at all, I think stepping on its tail would be bad in any event. Confucius said, "Do not use a cannon to kill a mosquito." I'm using hand grenades to blow up scorpions. Is that the same thing? Stage 3 seems to be a cave level, which makes sense considering the last stage ended with me walking through some kind of doorway. Then all of a sudden there's this weird plant thing shooting fireballs. This takes place on Earth, right? In the movie, the hero fights soldiers and then the Predator himself, that's it. What's this lava plant? If you punch this plant, it bursts into flames and drops off the screen. Okay. Then there's... what? Ghosts? Wait, I think they're piranhas. That must be underwater. Yeah, there's a seahorse. Okay, for some reason I'm underwater. I guess the answer is that. Well, the seahorse is shooting stuff at me, but whatever, I'm at least grasping the setting. There's a giant amoeba for some reason, or is it a jellyfish? Wait, if I'm underwater, how come I'm not swimming or something? I can still jump and fall in pits. The physics are exactly the same. There's a laser in this level. You can tell because it's very clearly labeled for you. Hey, remember that laser gun in the movie? No, there wasn't one. Well, unless you count the aliens' weapons. What's this, a slimy rock? A piece of cabbage? Why is it bouncing so ridiculously fast? Why is it shooting stuff at me? Why can I kill it? How do you kill an inanimate object? What's this, a floating fist? Oh, great. I just collected the ability to punch. I just traded in my laser so I could punch again. How does that make any sense? Stage 4. Okay, now I don't have the faintest idea what's going on. There's a crayfish or lobster or something. Then there are these weird blob things. What does this have to do with Predator? And this crazy thing, it looks like something that should be in Super Mario 2. What the Dutch is it? It's got wings on its head. There's also gigantic butterflies. Are all these ridiculous things supposed to be other aliens? That's the closest I could come to figuring it out, but they're just totally inappropriate. I think the designers really just made up whatever they wanted and just stuck it in there. In this level you also fight a creature who might be the Predator himself. He does zero gravity backflips and takes a really long time to die, but doesn't do a whole lot else. Real scary, man, just like in the movie. Major Schaefer soon discovers dead American soldiers hanging upside down from a tree. I will find whomever did this. Something about Arnold Schwarzenegger saying, whomever, just really makes me laugh. Now, didn't I just fight Predator there? Arnold should know who did it by now. But aside from that, this just seems contextually crazy. If you've been following me so far, he's seen some things that most people wouldn't believe, even to the point where hanging, skinned, upside-down corpses are comparatively normal. This is some Silent Hill madness here, and his first thought is that some person is responsible? It's like waking up in the middle of the night to find your whole house glowing purple, then going downstairs to find that there are magical leprechauns dancing a jig in your living room. Your bowling trophy came to life and is asking you a series of existential questions about the nature of being. Then say you find most of your belongings are missing, or even worse, there's a dead body. Is your first thought really gonna be to round up a posse and track down the culprit? I'd probably think I've gone crazy. If not, I'd almost certainly assume that the altering of reality around me would somehow be connected. Anyway, let's just move on. The next level... Big mode? Big mode? What does that mean? What the dumb face? Okay, so now our good friend the Major treks through an auto-scrolling stage shooting hostile bubbles for power-ups. What are these bubbles supposed to be? Where is he? There's no background anymore. He's just running around in the void shooting bubbles. Predator shows up. This time the graphics are large enough that you can clearly see it's him. He disappears, reappears, and fires clusters of his own head. Wait, what? This game has 30 stages, not including the 6 big mode stages, so I won't bore you with the details of every single level, especially since almost all of them recycle the same settings and monsters. So let's just give you the highlights. Another amoeba creature that sort of looks like a Roman centurion helmet. Some weird bird thing that unloads these drops of blood, I think. I don't know what this is supposed to be, so I don't know whether or not I should be grossed out or otherwise disturbed. Floating platform things that sort of look like comets. Another predator that for whatever reason is now brown and green. Who knows? At the end of every big mode stage you fight the predator again, but his attack changes. Here he jumps around and claws at you. Then a triangular formation of energy balls floats around and he fires a bubble beam. Wait, is this just using bubbles to try to make this? Why bubbles? Honestly, I don't get it. Is it better than drawing lasers? Why am I shooting bubbles for power-ups? Why are bubbles even involved? After a few other various attacks, the last time you see him, all he does is do flips. Okay, now it's time for the last level. The final showdown with Predator has you fighting his floating, disembodied head that shoots crud at you. After he sustains enough damage, his mask disappears. I guess this is some attempt at being true to the movie. The one time it tries to be true to the movie, and it's a floating head. I really don't know what else to say about this game except ask, is it surprising that this game is from Japan? Beast. Nice censorship, Nintendo.